She was the NACE Speaker of the Year. And but you're gonna find out why in just a minute. But please welcome, and I want you to make a lot of noise, Shannon Tarrant.
Hello, hello. How fun. I like when it's not 9 million people in a room. It's a little less pressure. A little bit, but not much. Not much. So I'm so excited to be here. I am from the Orlando area, so I took a little bit of a trip down the wilds of I-4 to get down here. Had an amazing stay last night at the Current. Exceptional. If you guys haven't eaten at that rooftop, it was like Mother Nature. I've got dolphins swimming past, margaritas. The people behind me were on a first date. It was the most fun to get to just sit and listen to them. It's an exceptional property. Being able to be waterfront and have a cute little beach, it was gorgeous. So thank you so much. Very, very, very generous. How many of you have maybe seen me speak before? At NACE or at Swell or at any of the other? Okay. So for those of you who haven't, I like to give a little bit of a warning in advance. I love a well-placed GIF. They are all over the presentation for emphasis and my own freaking entertainment more than for yours. I talk really fast. Sometimes I say things that are a little shock and awe, a little unexpected of what you would expect somebody that NACE would maybe bring in to speak. And I'm not giving you the slides today, so if you see anything you love, just take a picture of it. So you've got it, but if you are a NACE member, I am recording this, and I will give them the link to the video, so they can share with the members who are here, the members who are not here, if you want them for the replay. But we do have a tiny bit of a disclaimer. So, just so you know, this presentation is rated R, definitely R. Not X today, because it's a daytime event, absolutely not. But real talk and the occasional rogue F-bomb. See, I really like foul language. Like, I really like the naughty words, like a lot. I've gotten a little better about using less of it, not in my regular conversation, but when someone hands me a microphone. But you've been warned in advance, so don't email the NACE board and be like, oh my God, Shannon's on the stage. I did say it. They knew before they brought me in. So, a little controversial, but I have learned to warn you in advance. So you ready to learn some stuff? Okay. So think about the fact the last time that you made a purchase based upon a review. What was that? Were you looking for something online, say searching on Amazon, and there's 700 products of the same thing? And you're like, how do I pick? I was buying a hose this weekend for the house. You know how many hoses came up on Amazon when I was searching for a hose? Right, so whether that's on Amazon or on Google, I mean, Jeff sent me the hotel, so of course I looked it up on Google, and I start reading the reviews to hear what other people say. Reviews run the world in which we live in, right? Like, just recently I was in Las Vegas, and I was so excited to go see a show. But how do you, pick the show? Okay, that's easy, read reviews about the show. But then how do you pick the seat? Because the price and the dollars are a wild ride, right? Like that seat is a $600 seat, and that seat is like a $100 seat, but can I still see from back there? I don't really know. Well, I went online and started searching, and I found this amazing website that to the show I was going to see, this woman wrote a blog post where she stands in the seat, takes a picture of the stage. So you could see, she does it through the whole freaking, I was like, this woman is a genius. Because it allowed me to see and actually get to experience to figure out how much money I wanted to spend. Because I was fine with that deal. I didn't need to be any closer than that. But it was someone else's personal experience that really led me to make that decision. And so what reviews are? Reviews are a form of social proof, right? Like we don't really, none of us have the time, especially people in the event industry, to just rogue go and hope that it's a good experience. Whether it's the restaurant you choose or the services you want to hire, right? We need to make sure that that information we're gaining in advance sets us up for success with the choices that we make. So there's a lot of different types of social proof that exist in the world. I mean, is anybody else a TikToker? I don't make content, but I scroll like a mofo. Orleans at the end of this month, that entire vacation has been planned by TikTok. I have a whole folder. I know which restaurants we want to go see. I know which tours we're going to take because I watched all these videos of people sharing their experiences there. I mean, the reason that the Kardashians are the Kardashians is because of their celebrity social proof. People buy their products because, I mean, Skims are great, but so are Spanx, and so is the Target version. It may not be as good, right? But when you're looking at all of this information that exists out there, reviews function in 3 different ways. Reviews are wisdom of your friends. When someone gives an actual review, have you ever done this? You post on social, hey, has somebody ever used this for this? And like, who have you used that you loved? What's that experience? Even sometimes when it comes to networking events, I'm like, do I really want to buy a ticket for that? Is this somewhere that I should be? You know, have you ever been to a NACE meeting? Do you, like, right? So that's that proof of the friends, wisdom of the friends. And then a lot of times when you're buying things online or looking for services, it's about the actual users. I can tell you about my experience at the Current. I was a user. You all don't know me that well, but I can tell you that I walked into that room and like the view took my breath away. The bathroom was so great. The sunrise this morning. I love to work in a hotel room, so it had the desk, but it had this great little chaise lounge with this little weird table thing over it. Loved it. Right? That's like a user's experience. And last up is wisdom of the crowd. It's where like all the cool kids go. Right? Like, where are the places that many people love and enjoy using? Weddings is my specialty, so for those of you in this room who are like, I don't touch weddings, I get it. But like, sometimes my examples are a little wedding heavy, so I apologize in advance, but it works for everyone. The statistical data says 90% of engaged couples planning their wedding, 90% are looking at reviews. 9-0. So if you think and you're not prioritizing this as a part of the business, it's a problem at this point. Because the data analysis, Wedding Pro, whether you love them or hate them, they've got the best data in the world. Because they have more people using their platform and they actually track how much time people spend in what section on the freaking page. It's wild. So it's 90%. And reviews are really about what makes you different and sets you apart. Because I was talking to these lovely ladies who do catering earlier, and my favorite question to ask people when I meet them is, what makes your business different? What makes you unique? Because it's not just about what you think, it's also about what your customers think. And reviews are a great way to get some of that data. So when people are reading your reviews, these are the factors that are the most important. Number 1 is recency. Recency is so key. How long, you know what our industry does? Summer's coming. You know what you all will do? Go chase all those people you forgot to ask for reviews for the last 6 months because you've got time to do it now. But then you'll get this huge wave of reviews and then it dies after the fact because then you get busy in season and then we don't really ask, right? So how recent are the reviews? When I open up and those reviews are old, I'm out. Like when they suck, I'm like, that's 6 months ago. Do you remember during COVID? Pandemic. Like, people just didn't get any reviews, and it looked like people's businesses had closed. Because it was this huge window of time. Second up is consistency over time. As a new business, anybody in the first like 2 years of their company? No? Easy peasy. Kill the example. When you've been in it a long time, it's mildly embarrassing if you tell me you've been in business 20 years and I go on your Google and you have 50 reviews. Looks bad, right? Like you've been in business a really long time. It matters, right? So the consistency, you not just getting a chunk once a year, consistently having new reviews come through, oh, I'm judging. Number 3 is named employees. Is the review like generic or are you saying specific people? Because it's important for me to know who the person is with the business. People do business with people they like, especially in our service industry. So it's great to know I love the rental company or I love this venue. Like it's a cool space. But to be able to say specifically that my experience of working with their team member, that is a whole different ballgame. So they're looking for like named employees and then detailed and honest feedback. I won't write a review for the Current and be like, the room was pretty and it was clean. Nobody's reading that review. They're a business traveler looking for that freaking chaise lounge with the mini table. That shit was, I stay in hotels, guys, 3 times a month. Nobody ever has anything other than the desk. Last week's hotel, the desk, the chair with my chunky thighs didn't fit underneath. So I was like, where the hell am I supposed to work this week? I didn't fit in the desk. It was wild. So I just opted to not write them a negative review, but I kept my mouth shut. But the detailed and honest feedback of exactly what is the experience of working with your business is really important. This is a great review. My business partners own a venue in Texas. This review is actually from a vendor. So the photographer wrote a review about the venue. And they said, we worked with Alexa, named, and the staff at Madeira, and they couldn't be more professional and enthusiastic about our couple's wedding. Not only was the venue gorgeous, but Alexa and her staff were so attentive not only to the couples, but to the vendors as well. It was a very warm day, and their team was constantly bringing water, making sure everyone was okay. Blah, blah, blah. We've been to tons of venues, and this would definitely impress us. Highly recommend. Now imagine if you're a couple planning their wedding, and you're like, the vendors like this place so good, they write them a review. That's sexy, right? So it's like they're looking for it to be really specific. And this is specific. If you were worried about getting married in a hot season, you shouldn't be, because that review just handled it. Side note, for those of you in this room trying to make good vendor and venue connections, it's a really easy way to start building some of that rapport with your venue partners by writing the reviews. Quantity of reviews does actually matter. Size matters when it comes to the quantity of reviews. It makes a difference in terms of how many you have. So many businesses, when they're looking for a differentiator as to what makes their business different and unique, Madeira's got 322 Google reviews. That's strong. Their closest local competitor has only 75. That's a huge difference to have a few hundred. A restaurant opened in Orlando. My boyfriend heard about it on the radio, and I was like, whatever. We like to take what we call food adventures. We went to go check out this restaurant. It was impeccable. The whole experience was incredible. They're Middle Eastern. They have this weird egg oven thing. They do these Egyptian pizzas. I don't know. It was like wild. So I go to write them a review. He's got 675 reviews on Google. I was like, how long have you been open? And he said 3 weeks. Guess which business has now tripled in size in their space and are opening 3 more locations? Booyah. They matter. So the number of reviews matter. But the worst part is about asking, right? You're like, yeah, Shannon, I know, I need to get them. Do you find that the asking to try to get them, the numbers have dipped drastically, correct? Like you used to ask and they just did it, and now they're not really doing it the way they did? They text you things like, it was so great. So one of the questions to ask yourself is from the initial contact, meaning the lead gets in your funnel, all the way until the event, how many times do you talk about reviews? Do you wait all the way until the end of the event and afterwards send them the email? How many times are you talking about it, mentioning it, bringing it up? So let me teach you a different way. We're gonna start with perfecting the ask. You've got to start talking about reviews during your sales process, right? So, you know how like in today's world, it's not a one and done, send an email and the lead actually replies? Wouldn't that be nice? Lazy little shits. You got to send like 50 follow-ups in today's world. One of your follow-up templates could very easily be an email template sharing your reviews, saying, have you seen our reviews? Have you had a chance to go read them? So if you're putting energy there, right, it matters. Also, if you're doing a sales call, whether you're a venue doing a tour, you're doing a Zoom call or whatever, you should ask the question as part of your sales process saying, have you had a chance to read our reviews? They'll either be like, no, I haven't had a chance, no, I haven't looked at those yet. Or they'll say, yes, that's why we're here, because we read this and this and this. But you've got to start talking about reviews from the very start of working with them, like the lead. They haven't even booked you yet. But if you're not talking about the importance of reviews, that matters. Now, remind them before the event itself that the reviews matter. So how many of you do like a final details meeting of some sort, be it phone, in person, email? I want you to talk about it then. I want you to tell them that after the event, you will be following up to get their feedback. And that reviews are very important to your small business, family-owned business, women-owned business. Like that reviews are important to you, your company. I used to lie at the hotel I worked at and say that I got financially rewarded for reviews. That was a lie. Did they fill them out more? Yes, they did. It was a white lie. It was just a cute little or I'd say that oh, I like that my service standards in terms of me being reviewed by my bosses depends upon, that's a factor that they consider. But the important part is before the event is you need to get them to say yes. Yes, I'm willing to write your review. Yes, I'm willing to do it. Because there's something psychologically that comes from the spot of, I've agreed to do something, so now I have to follow through on the other side. Right? It's like you said I'd do it, shit, now I have to do it. I haven't written the review yet for the current, but I just said it 14 times and on video. So guess who's gonna get that done today? Right? Because I made the commitment to do it. I've said I'm gonna do it, so there's a follow through that comes with that. You just really have to focus on why it matters. If you are a small business, whether you own the business or you work for it, talk about it. That writing us a review supports our local small business. If you are not and you work for a corporation, talk about the fact that it really helps future customers with the journey of making decisions and making choices. And you just have to find a way to tell them why. Because they send you the text message and oh my God, my flowers are so pretty. I love my bouquet so much. Tell the world. Tell the next girl who's trying to find a florist for her wedding, right? But you've got to explain to them, you have to give them a reason why it matters. For those young ones in the room, I'm not talking to you, cover your ears, earmuffs. We have an entire generation that needs the why. They need the why in a way that those of us over 40, it was because your mother said so. That's what I grew up hearing. I never needed the why. I just did it because somebody told me to do it and that's what I had to do. But it's wild to see how much, not only even the business owners, because we have a membership of 400 companies, I am constantly gotta tell them why. Why? Why should I do it? Why is it important? Why does it matter? It's the same people planning events on the younger half of the world. So you have to explain the why. And then the last step is when you do an email request, it needs to be personal. I'm all for using templates. If you know anything about me, I'm systems oriented and I'll get dirty and down with copy-paste templates all day long. But I need you to personal it. So include a real moment of working together from the first time I saw you, or if it was a wedding, the way you looked in that dress if you saw them, whatever that is, or at this moment on event day, when we set up all the tables and chairs in the space and looked around, we knew it would be exactly what you wanted, right? With those white chairs or crossbacks, be specific with the ask. And if you're on site during your events, take some behind the scenes B-roll, a photo of them, anything that you can use in that ask. Now it feels like it's a personal request. It is not just a copy-paste email. The copy-paste emails have to stop. And last up, be very intentional with your wording that you put in this email. Use things like, we value your feedback. That hits home. Share your experience. Not just how did we do. Be clear about getting them to be more detailed. And your opinion matters to us. Makes me feel so good. It sounds like if I have something to say, whether positive or negative, you actually want to hear it. We hosted a venue education day last week, and I sent out a survey, and one of our lovely ladies was at the event, and I was like, I need you to fill out that survey, because we can't get better without feedback. It's so important. I'm literally going to email one by one every single venue that attended to be I'm desperate for you to fill out the survey. Take the 3 minutes. What do I gotta do? I want it to be the best event it can be, but I can't do that without hearing from you directly what we did wrong. Other than the fact it was -4 degrees in that room, and we all knew it. I was like, you can put that on the survey, but I already freaking know. The AC was rough. So a few things to remember when it comes to asking for reviews. Right? It's really important that you're to remember that you're asking for a favor. They don't have to do shit for you. Just because you did a good job doesn't mean that they have to then take the next step. They don't have to do anything for you. You're asking them to take their time to give to help your company. So approach it from a place of, look, I know you have a lot going on. I know you're so busy on your honeymoon. Or I know that you just finished an event and can finally breathe. But remind them that it's a favor. Let them know how long it will take. Just take a few minutes, right, to be able to do it. Explain to them how much it means. We talked about that a little bit already. And then ask them when they're the happiest. When you're doing an event, of any type, but especially a wedding, there's this weird little gratitude period. That about 2 weeks after a wedding is considered their gratitude period. Most of them don't send thank you notes anymore. That shit is wild. I only know because I've given a lot of big fat gifts to weddings in the last 2 years, and I've never gotten a thank you. And I send nasty text messages to their parents being like, teach them better. Send a thank you, right? But like, there's this window of time that they're still high on their event, right? So like, we always write reviews even after like we host networking events to all of our sponsors. We do it immediately after, because it's like, it's fresh. Once you get a month or two later, it's really hard to get them to want to write it again. I will tell you a secret tip that we tried. Thanksgiving weekend is a wild ride of people have a lot of downtime. We're doing a lot of scrolling. We're shopping and scrolling online, right? So with one of the venues I coach, we did this whole campaign on Instagram stories being like, we're so thankful for you and we'd be thankful for you to write us a review, and they got 17 reviews that weekend. Because it was like people were just looking. They were just scrolling through stuff, and they were like, well, they had nothing else better to do. When you hit them at the right time, sometimes that's about them writing the review. The resort that I used to work at in Central Florida is called Mission Inn Resort. Now Mission Resort Plus Club, new ownership. So we were set up a little bit different when it came to reviews. We had one team that sold and one team that serviced. Do any of you have it set up like that, where one team sells it and then the other team runs the event through? So here's a little tip for that. You can like pre-qualify your reviews. So, I mean, anybody could really do this, but it works a little easier when one sells and one services. See, I worked at a hotel. You want to know the challenge at a hotel? We could execute the most flawless wedding, and the front desk pissed them off, or the hotel room was dirty, or the bellman was an asshole. And I was like, I did all these things flawless, and now they were writing us the wedding was amazing, except, and the review. So we started pre-qualifying. So we would email them and say, how was everything? Like, we never sent them the links to the reviews first. So if this was happening behind me, and they were mad about something that I didn't know, because it happens, right? You sold the whole thing, maybe you're not there to service it after the fact, or the rentals, you're not out setting up, so you have no idea what happened on site, right? So instead of just being like, go write us a review, I was like, let's ask first. So we would literally be like, I sent an email that had these stupid little smiley faces in it, and we would pre-qualify before we sent them the link. So I would, in that email, ask them, saying we always strive for 5-star reviews. That's a psychological screw with people's heads. To tell them the word 5-star. So when they get to the stars, they hit 5 stars. Because it matters in Google, those stupid stars, right? So we always say, and if it's not a 5-star review, please take those Amber Alerts. I'm just kidding, they're very important. Give them suggestions as what to talk about, right? What are the things that people should be saying in the review, right? But you want to first pre-qualify, because if there's any potential for the world to be burning before you give them a link to the website where they can put it on the internet forever, you would like to find that information out in advance. Not everyone has the time to do that, and I appreciate it, but if you can, and you work in an industry that you weren't the one who touched it all the way through, I highly suggest it. It's really sexy when I'm the owner and you're the worker, because it's easy for me, the owner, to send an email and say, how did my team do at the event? Because then they write back and we're like, oh my God, it was amazing, everything was so great, blah, blah, blah. And then you're like, awesome, here's the links to write us a review, can you copy and paste that paragraph into the review? They've already pre-written it, right? So different options. Give them suggestions about what to talk about. Yeah, go ahead.
What's the etiquette on how many links to send them?
The etiquette is 3. If you send them any more than 3, the chances of them doing it goes drastically down. You should send them anywhere where you're spending money, marketing. Google should be number 1, and then anywhere you're investing dollars, or that people actually search for your service. What do?
DJ partner.
DJ, right. So like, your majority is going to be Google. If you spend money on the Not Wedding Wire, anywhere like that, you'd want to send them that. Nobody's looking for an event DJ on Yelp. So screw it. Don't put it on there. right? Like you don't have to put, but if you're somebody who like spends money on, what's one of those other DJ platforms that's the $75 an hour guys spend their time there trying to get business? Thumbtack, that's it. So like, if you're like, I don't want leads from there, don't send them a Thumbtack link, right? So think about, but really the magic number is about 3. So they won't copy and paste to more than 3. Go ahead.
I don't mean to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I was watching and listening to a podcast this morning about how this generation is looking for a vendor through ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Do you think that the Google reviews are kind of linked to that?
Absolutely. Chat, and I'll dive into it in a minute with Google, but yes, like Google reviews matter for a lot of things outside of and ChatGPT. It's called generative search. I'm learning a lot about that right now. It's no longer search engine optimization, it's generative search optimization. Go ahead.
What happens if you send someone the email and it's like, let us respond if it's not a 5-star review and they don't respond? Do you follow up again?
Yep. Same as I would do. It's the same process if you're trying to pre-qualify it as you would chase them. I'd be like, I'd probably try a second time to be like, I'm very sarcastic, as you can tell. And so my second email would probably be something along the lines of like, are you ghosting me? Like, don't ghost me like a bad first date. Like, did we do something wrong? Because now's the time. Like, I can't fix it if I don't know. Because if you didn't do anything wrong, they'll be like, oh my God, no, everything was great. Like, I just didn't take the time to reply back to you. But make it like, I don't know. I feel like you guys, our industry, we build such good rapport. So, like, lean in on the rapport that you build with people. Number 3 is reward them for their time. I think that's really important. If you have the opportunity to bribe people, bribe them. I love a good bribe. I love a good bribe. When they told me somebody was taking pictures today, I was so excited and I said, please don't delete the bad ones. I play games on my social media when I'm like, when I talk. Poor photographers trying to capture speakers, it's impossible. We always have our mouths open and our faces, but whatever. You get 3 good photos, right? But I play games on social media, and I bribe people to comment by giving away Starbucks gift card for the best stupid comment on my dumb face. Right? Like, when people are incentivized, you can incentivize them a ton of ways. At my hotel, we gave them a free one-night gift certificate to come back for their anniversary if they wrote us a review on 3 platforms. Less than 10% used it. Right? I was talking to one of the photographers, I'm like, you could give them a free 8x10. What does that cost you inside of your system for them if they do it? There is a way for you to incentivize it, do it. 1 in 3 people will write your review if you remind them 1 time. 1 in 3. It's about a 30%. So the majority of times it's because most people just don't ask. But 2 in 3 will do it if you ask more than once. You gotta go on the chase for it. It's the same as when the lead came in the door. Nobody's responding to the first fucking email anymore. That's like 1 in 50 actually reply back to lead 1. So you've got to do the same thing when it comes to wanting to capture and get reviews. So where should I ask them to review me? Order of importance, number 1 is always going to be Google. Google's the number 1 most important place for people to review you. We'll talk about the SEO implications of that. Wedding Pro and Zola is really about anywhere people are spending money. My company's at the bottom. Facebook doesn't matter at all unless your clientele spends a lot of time looking for people there. Like local businesses, if you spend a lot of your business time marketing in Facebook groups, then Facebook reviews matter. Sometimes we see like some of the balloon companies or new vendors coming up. They spend a lot of time in those stupid Facebook groups. Can I find a cheap venue? No! Go away! Right? But like you need to put it where it works for you the most. So now you're getting reviews, let's actually manage them. You need to have a spreadsheet for all your review links so you can go back in and you can look at and see, hey, when have people actually reviewed me there in a while, right? You just got to be able to get to the data fast. We used to track every event, have they reviewed us or not? Because I knew every single review I got was less money I had to spend on marketing. Because the reviews did the job for me. We also reused the reviews in terms of our marketing, which I'll teach you how to do that. So most of the time, I believe in my second company I own is called Venue Help Desk. I work specifically with venues, but the biggest complaint I always get from the venues is like, I always teach this stuff, can you just do it for me? So if you have any interest and you're like, I don't want to deal with any of this crap Shannon's talking about, on Venue Help Desk in our little shop, We have a review tracking spreadsheet and the entire request review email template that I've all written. So if you can just change it from venue to floral to DJ, but if you're like, I don't have time and I don't know how to use ChatGPT, the tools exist and they are there for you if you want them. So 53% of customers who write your review, they actually expect a response in 7 days or less. Tell me that's not wild. How many of you have repeat clients? Right? They come back, they host their event 1 year or a Christmas party and they're like, we love this, I want to come back again. When you have repeat clients and they take the time to write you a review, they want you to respond to it. They want to know that you saw it. That's super important. So lots of reasons why you should respond to your reviews. It increases the lifetime value of people, it gets the next people, it shows the next customer how much you care, that you actually care enough about your business to go in and reply back when people said great things, right? But the most important factor is your SEO. See, because when you reply back to reviews, it actually helps to boost your Google ranking. This is some dirty shit I'm about to teach you. You ready? Google actually has it as one of the many factors that it pays attention to in terms of rankings. See, because when people write you a review and you give them you send a good template that gives them a general, here's what we're looking for in the review. If I'm a caterer, I'd love to know what was your favorite food item, what did you think of our service? You know, tell us about the process from when they first booked. We have a bridal salon in Orlando that I taught them to start asking for reviews at the appointment, whether or not they bought the dress. Who cares if they bought the dress or not? They did a great appointment with you. Just because you didn't have this to the dress moment they were looking for doesn't mean that they didn't do it. So if I was a venue, the day they signed the contract, I'd send them the damn link. They're never gonna love you as much as the day they chose you. You haven't done anything to screw it up yet, right? True story. So because then if they never go back to write you a review in the future, if they go back after the event, I just have to hit edit review and I can add in what my new experience was. But that's a way to kind of boost those numbers. So the SEO tips in reviews is very important in terms of how you reply to them is most important in Google. So make sure to include the type of services. We loved providing your wedding ceremony music, your uplighting in the room, dancing on a cloud, blah, 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 blah. All the services you provided, crossback chairs, farm tables, whatever it is, whatever those services are you provided, if they didn't put it in the review, you write it into the reply. Because you're teaching Google that those are the services that we provide. So you start to rank for those things. You also want to use the word best. It's so stupid how many people search for best wedding venue. Best florist in a city. So you just have to use the word best in it. You don't even have to use the whole phrase. I hope you had the best day. Because now it's like that company, somebody's using the word best to talk about them, even if it's you talking about yourself. The word best matters. Also make sure to include your location keywords. If you are not a venue, you can also include the venue that it was at, if they didn't say the venue. So if you were talking about this great brewery, like we love providing photography services at the brewery, with the proper name, sorry I didn't memorize it, but like at the brewery, like in City State, in Wesley Chapel, Florida. Nobody actually really reads the responses that bad, so keyword stuff it a little bit. That helps your business. So imagine if you got 300 reviews on your company and you start keyword stuffing all of those responses. You're training Google what words you want to rank for. I currently right now rank on page 1 for 8,000 keywords for wedding venue. 8,000. Want to know how? Because I'm an SEO monster. Every stupid way Google changes how they rank. Now, until the ChatGPT AI people tell us how the hell we can guarantee those spots, we can't follow a formula right now. But what it is doing is Claude, that's Google's ChatGPT, right? Yeah. Which one? Gemini. Gemini pulls really heavy from Google. ChatGPT actually pulls really heavy from, what's the stupid one with Bing? Fucking Bing. Who the hell has done anything in years to rank for Bing? Chatty, what are you doing? Come idea where the data comes from, but people planning events and planning weddings, they are starting to use ChatGPT to source because they're going very deep, or any of the AI, they're going very deep with their requirements. So you have to start make sure you're keywording in your website, the services you offer, the things, because there's no more playing around. It's not just about where you rank for Google. You will be irrelevant in 5 years if you do not keyword. Irrelevant. My stepkids don't do anything without asking ChatGPT. My 17-year-old niece, everything we did at Universal for 4 days, she asked ChatGPT first. Everything. What does butterbeer actually taste like? She's not asking Siri, she freaking opens ChatGPT. What does butterbeer actually taste like? What's the flavor? Which one's the best? Hot butterbeer, frozen butterbeer, regular? Like, over and over and over again, that was her search engine. So unfortunately, we don't have enough data for generative AI, but I'm testing to see how we can rank in those places and spaces. But the SEO is very key in terms of how you respond. See, you can't control what they say about your business, but you can control about the words you use back. You can also go back every time I give this presentation, the one thing I forget to say, because people ask me afterwards, you can go back if you've never responded to your reviews, and you can go back and respond to them all. Don't do like all if you have 300, but go back through the last like 30, 40, 50, and respond to them like a mofo. Fill it up. So when you're responding to positive reviews, some best practices. Write it sooner than later, use their name, make it feel like a actual note. Like, you know who it was, right? Most of the time. I mean, I wouldn't expect a hotel to use my name. Corporate versus very small business is very, very different as the expectation. It should be short. You can address their key points, the things they said about your business. You want to address them back. But we're going to be dirty. We're going to just cheat on all this, and I'll teach you how. Now, let's talk about negative reviews. Has anybody ever gotten one? Like a real doozy? Yeah. Sometimes they're legitimate and fair. You can tell me that the room was cold last week. That was fair. Sometimes it's unreasonable. So when negative reviews come in, everybody reacts very differently. Some people do this. Oh no. Other people stick their head in the sand and pretend like they didn't see it. They're like, I never saw anything about that. I'm just gonna pretend like it didn't happen. Or you could be like me. I rage when I get a bad review. Because I know how much work and time and energy we put into. I will flip shit over. I get so mad. Because I know, even the results from the survey last week, I am not emotionally ready to read them yet. It was a survey. Nobody said, 100% of people said that they would return next year. But I know there's feedback in there, and I am not mentally and emotionally prepared yet to read it for the things that people did not like. I need to prepare myself. So I'm gonna tell you a little story. I did a wedding one time. I started my career in offsite catering. So we went to do this wedding at this gorgeous venue. It was 60 people. This was the wedding cake and dessert table for 60 people. That cake serves I don't know, cake lady in the room, what is that, 300?
That must be Brazilian land.
Yeah, I don't know. The cake was humongous for 50 to 60 people. So we did what we always did back in the day. We saved the top tier, we cut top down, and then we stopped serving. You don't cut and serve the whole freaking cake, we just saved them the leftovers. So the wedding happens, she's so happy, best day ever. And then I get her review. Oh my God, it was so great. I don't know why that's what brides sound like. Oh my God, it was so great. Everything was so wonderful. I loved everything, but ... You know, every flavor, every tier was a different flavor on our cake, and they only cut the top of the cake, and they didn't serve the rest of it, and the top was all weird flavors that nobody would eat, so nobody ate my cake, and all the normal flavors were at the bottom, and I really wish they would have served it. I wanted to flip the table, but I just walk away, right? See, the thing I didn't tell you about this wedding is that bitch showed up with a tiger. An actual tiger. She didn't tell the venue. She didn't tell the catering staff. She didn't tell the photographers. She told no one. We got out of the truck. 2 of my servers were like, fuck no, and they left. They were like, we are not gonna do when weddings gone wild. No thank you. An actual this was the bride. And that tiger is on a dog leash. He's not in a cage. He literally is on like a small leash with like one lady holding it. I don't give a fuck about the fact I didn't cut your cake. We survived your wedding. That's all that really matters. You see, she worked at the Big Cat Sanctuary. It's the Carol Baskin of the future. She worked at the Big Cat Sanctuary. She was like nuzzling him with her face, and every time she did it, I was like, he's gonna bite her. He's gonna bite her. Like, I actually hope he bites her because this is so stupid. I don't even know what to say. But all she was worried about was that we didn't get the cake. She didn't put in that review. She showed up with a fucking tiger. She didn't put that in there. And so I thought through it. I wrote a very kind response saying, thank you so much for your honest and detailed feedback. No, I didn't put that emoji in there. Thank you so much for your feedback. We're going to review our processes internally. And for future reference, we will ask every wedding from here on out, all the flavors and the tiers. Because back then, there wasn't really food allergies back then. There were, but nobody cared. We just let people die. If they ate the strawberry, they ate the strawberry. Like, we didn't really care all that much. We didn't even do signs on the buffet back then. It was like, good luck, eat whatever's there, right? So I said for future reference, we will ask the flavors. We will also ask, would they prefer to save the leftovers, or would they like us to cut and serve them? And I appreciate your honest feedback so that we can redefine our systems for the future. She went back in and edited and removed that whole section of the review. Because she felt heard and felt seen. So sometimes when someone has had a not great experience, sometimes it's unrealistic and unfair. She wasn't unfair. I didn't do it. But we hadn't set proper expectations, right? And she brought a fucking tiger. So I want you to know what it took me to get through the internet to find that video. It was buried on my Facebook from when Facebook started. I had to go back years to dig to find that video, but I found it. But only 40% of people, they just want a truthful apology. That's all they want. I'm so sorry that we didn't meet your expectations. So words you can use, we're sorry to hear that your experience didn't match your expectations. That didn't say I did anything wrong. Your experience didn't meet the expectations, right? You expected something and then you didn't get it. We apologize for our mistake. Let's make this right. Sometimes you screw up, right? Once at my hotel, I had a bride allergic to nuts. Pesto at her rehearsal dinner. We almost killed her. We ruined the entire wedding. She had to go to the hospital. She was blown up the size of, she was literally swollen. I called our owners and said, you better refund $40,000. We're gonna have to throw another wedding, or you're gonna give her $40,000, the cost of the whole wedding. Otherwise, she's gonna sue us and she's gonna get way more than that because we did it. We fed her pesto and the server didn't know that pesto had nuts in it. So yeah. No, I didn't serve the fucking pesto. It was on every piece of paper, every meal. I didn't get, but I called the owners and was like, you get a choice. You can dig in, but if this hits the news, we're done. She will go if we don't handle it ASAP, and we handled it. We refunded the entire amount, $40,000. We gave her back every penny she spent on that wedding. She never said a word. We did 150 weddings a year at that property. It was a $3.7 million line of business. Fuck the $40,000. Save the PR that comes from it, right? If she had taken it to the internet, could you imagine? We did it. There was nothing I could say. This isn't an idiot with a tiger. I fed a girl who told us she was allergic to nuts. Nuts! We did it, right? So it's you have to get in front of, but most of the time, she didn't ask us for a penny. But somebody in that family was gonna be as smart as I am, or every family has an attorney. Every family has a lawyer or is connected to a lawyer. We just want to get in front of it. When you're replying back to a negative review, you just have to be professional, polite, and thoughtful. I am none of those things. I am not the review responder in our company. I am not professional. I am not polite when I'm angry and upset. And I'm definitely not thoughtful when I'm agitated. So this is me. I read the reviews and I'm like, shove it. Just kidding. It was their day and it was their experience and that's fine, but it is what it is. So listen, in today's world, it's a very sexy time, guys, because we can just cheat. Depends on how you define cheating though, because ChatGPT can do all this work for you. You don't have to do anything anymore. Pay the $20 a month, get the professional version of it, because it's 100 times better than the free version. and you can cheat. So here's a great example. This venue in Central Florida, the Glass Barn was a disappointing choice, lacking essential amenities like air conditioning. The stifling heat inside made the experience uncomfortable, and the absence of proper climate control detracted from any enjoyment. Events held here during warmer months are likely to be sweaty and unpleasant. Clearly a guest, right? The bride knew what the hell she picked. She picked a greenhouse in June. She knew her guests were gonna roast. My niece is getting married in July at an all-outdoor venue. Didn't ask me for help. And I was like, what were you thinking? Like, your grandmother's gonna die. Like, Nana is on oxygen. You want her to be outside. She's gonna show up to your ceremony, wave at you, and we gotta put her in the air conditioning car. Like, what are you thinking? But as a guest, you're mad because you're sweating everywhere. That's like me complaining that Universal was 100 degrees on Saturday and didn't have shade. I mean, it's not Universal's fault. It is, but it isn't. My dumbass was walking around Universal in 100 degrees. But it's very easy for people to go online and rage. So you go to ChatGPT and you write a prompt, write a professional positive response. You're not allowed to say, tell them to go fuck themselves. You're not allowed to do that. Write a professional positive response. The Glass Barn was disappointing to this review. And then I just copied and pasted the review in. I didn't say anything else. Right, a professional, I'm not getting defensive. I didn't feed the beast anything else, the beast being chatty. I just put the notes in there. Look at this response. Thank you for taking the time to share your feedback about your experience. We sincerely apologize that your visit did not meet your expectations. Right, and we appreciate your candid comments. That's the middle finger. You just let it do it in a nice way. Your concerns regarding the lack of air conditioning resulting discomfort are genuinely important to us. That sounds like I don't give a crap, but thanks for letting us know. We understand the impact of such concerns, blah, blah, blah. Please rest assured we take your feedback seriously and we will assess opportunities to enhance the climate control measures within the Glass Barn. I never would have written anything like that. I would have been like, that dumb bitch picked a venue that's glass with no air conditioning in June in Florida. Her fault, not mine. Have a good day. I don't know what to tell you. And thank you so much for your feedback. Right? Like, that is legit how I would respond to that. And so things like this, when it hit my desk, or you get that like one-off weirdo email and you don't know what to say, all of those things, I used to push them to the side because I had easier stuff to do. You don't have to do that anymore. Respond fast. Like, ChatGPT has no emotion to it. Have her do the work for you. Let her, you copy, paste, hit reply, send, it's gone. Be the next customer. The next customer who's considering this venue just read this and is like, oh, that's nice, they actually care. They don't care, but they did a good job cheating and making it look like they care. So if this is something that it will save you a ton of time, it gives you good inspiration. We create like we call it the talk track. We have a Word doc with talk tracks. So when someone asks us something stupid and ChatGPT writes an amazing response, then we keep that so we can use it in the future. But it keeps things objective and removes the emotion. They don't know who that person is. They don't know if they're a guest or not. It's just very objective. How many of you are using ChatGPT to reply to reviews now? Yes. Or for all other things in life? Yes. So those of you who haven't replied to your reviews, I just want you to use this tool, cheat all the way through. Okay, so we've got the reviews. We've got glowing reviews. What do we do now with them? We need to tell people that people love working with us. This is content. The world we live in is content, 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 content. Everywhere you go, you need content, right? So how are you going to use these? So first, you're going to use them to attract quality customers. We all want better leads in the funnel, right? So you're going to use them on social media. You can post them in your stories. This is too much text. This is a bad example. Keep it shorter, like one sentence, one banger sentence. Don't put the whole review in there. No one can read that fast on stories. One sentence, right? You can then save all of those in your stories to highlight. Don't call it client love, that's a bad example, call it reviews. No one knows what the hell client love is, so they don't look at it. Call it reviews. Be clear, easy, fast, so people can find what it is they're looking for. You get all these gorgeous photos from an event. If you don't know what to caption, use the reviews. You have the images, so instead of trying to be like, Mike and Susie's perfect dates, just copy paste their review into the caption, so that's what other people thought about them. I mean, what? Oh, sorry. There you go. Put it in the Instagram feed. When you're you've got pictures, and you're like, I have photos, I don't have enough videos, that's fine. If you can get a video, it's super sexy. I'm skipping past this because it'll play. But that is a video of a couple who love their venue so much. While they were dressed, they talked about it. If you have super fans like that, get them to say it. If you're hand delivering them the bouquet, somebody should be behind you videoing that experience, which I know Andy does, right? But have that video if you can get your hands on it. Use them in your marketing materials. Anything that you're giving out, that you're sending out, you should be taking a quote out of the reviews and using it to talk about it. And then use it in any of your email marketing. In every email blast we send out, we have like a review block. Flowdesk is what I use, that's why I put it on there. But we have an entire block that always, every newsletter, everything we send, has one of our reviews featured in it. You took the time to get them. Now let's reuse them and repurpose them. All right, next up is we attracted good leads, but how do we take the leads that are already in our funnel, that are dragging right now, and they're not making moves, and how do we convert them? So use these leads on your website. You should be sprinkling them. Don't have one page that just says reviews. Sprinkle them throughout the whole site. Every page should have a review block. Always put a photo with it. People have more trust when there's a photo attached. You want to know what you can do that I did all the time? I put a really pretty photo with a review, and they weren't the same people. Nobody knows. If you got gorgeous photos, or you're like, that's a great review, but I don't have any of their pictures, nobody knows. Mike and Susie aren't coming back being like, that's not, nobody cares. You can use it in your follow-up email templates. We talked about it. This is one of those templates I used to use. Hi, first name. We could say we're pretty fantastic, but you don't have to take our word for it. Listen to these voices from the past, or if you want to dig deeper, check out our 300 reviews from our past company names. Link to your Google reviews and do a few one sentences. Our promise to you, blah, blah, blah. Are you ready to secure us? Have that be one of your email templates that you're using on the chase, is to reuse your reviews. Like one sentence out of each. Like, this is what they're saying about us. Next up is in your email signature. If you're getting all these reviews, read our latest reviews here. If you're in sales, put it in your email signature. Read our latest reviews. Now, would I do that in a hotel? Probably not, because you have no control over what reviews are going where. But when you're like a small business and you've got them all drive into one place, it might be harder for something like the brewery, because people are leaving reviews about the beer and the experience out there, not just about events, right? But when you're a small business, drive them right back to there. But you've got to tell people, you took the time and energy to get them. Now, how can we use them to stretch? Because it's the social proof. To get it and have it just sit in reviews and for you to not use it everywhere else doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. We got to chase these idiots for it. Reviews can come from everyone, including people in this room. I think one of the number one ways, the best thing that got me out of bed during COVID in that first 3 months, do you remember, those of you who were around? Those months we didn't want to get out of bed. We didn't want to do anything. I got up every day, I sat down on my laptop, and I wrote 3 reviews for vendors in the industry. I just went in and raved about their businesses. And I did 3 reviews a day, every day, for 12 weeks. I wrote hundreds of reviews for local vendors, local restaurants, local anything that I could, because it got me back to work. Because then I was at my laptop, so I kept going. You guys should be taking the time when you've got a great relationship or have a strong referral partner, you should be taking the time to go write reviews for them. You don't have to do it all the time, but summer is coming. It's like winter is coming on that. Summer is coming. You have time, right? So now's the time to do it. All right, wrap it up. Reviews give your reputation a boost. If I meet you here and I go online and start looking at your brand, I am over the age of 35, so the first place I go is to the Google. Under the age of 35 goes to the Instagram. That is tested. I do 25 wedding shows a year. Pray for me. 25. Last year, we put a clipboard in our booth, and every single time I told a bride about a venue, I'd say, look it up. And she'd pull up her phone, and if she went to Instagram, I was like, can I be rude and ask you how old you are? And I was like, under 35. They all went to Instagram first. If they were over 35, they Googled you. So those reviews matter. If my mom, who's spending a lot of money on planning my wedding, she's going to Google. So you need these things to boost your reputation overall. You need to consistently ask for reviews. You can't just set it and forget it once. This has to become part of your standard workflow. After an event, what are the next steps? You can't send it once. You got to follow up 2 or 3 times. It's just that reminder, right? Hotels do this better than anyone. When you go stay at a hotel, you get an email usually right after, like checkout day. The email's already in my inbox that says, how was your experience at the Current? Tell us, here's the link to write us a review. And then I delete it because I've been gone for a day and a half and I got a lot of shit to do. And then that second email comes and I'm like, oh God, it was a great experience. When people have a good experience with your business, they do want to tell other people about it. They just need the reminder. It's got to be at the top of the list. So make sure you ask your vendor partners and your employees. If you need to boost your reviews, if you have employees, tell them all to review you about working there. Why do they love working there? Why do they love what they do for your business, for your brand? And then reward employees for reviews that name them. So when I worked at the hotel, our 2 coordinators, I said, you can get a review that has your name on it. We gave them like a point system and I let them earn days off, paid days off. So I was like, if you can get the reviews for every review that has your name in it, you get an hour of PTO. Once you hit 8, you can take a day off. Those girls chased hard for those reviews. And they worked harder to make sure that they never finished a final walkthrough meeting and didn't hit on the reviews. Never. Because they knew it was important because they wanted free time off. In the summers, they literally never worked more than 4 days a week. Sometimes they worked 3 days a week because they were sitting on so much PTO, right, for them to be able to use. Don't ever pay cash for reviews. That's a little dirty. That's also illegal. As somebody who runs a platform that collects reviews, it is against the law for you to give dollars for a review. You can give product, you can give things, you can give gift cards, but straight cash is not allowed. Don't forget to say thank you more often to the people you're working with, the vendors in the industry, the couples. Thank you for your business. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for hiring us. Don't forget to surprise and delight your customers. People who have amazing experiences want to write a review. So like Hunter, who's the server at that rooftop restaurant I ate at last night that has the deepest, sexiest voice I think I've ever heard a human being. His voice is like down here and he's like, oh, have you had a chance to look at the menu? And I like looked up and was like, everything I needed last night, he was Johnny on the spot. He was like, oh, do you need, and I was like, this is really good, but it's really spicy. Is there anything? I was like, I'm a wimp. And he's like, oh yeah, let me get you the back, done, right? When you go above and and then because I was staying at the hotel, you get this little like amuse-bouche. For those of you who aren't foodie whores like I am, it's this like pre-food one bite. I don't know, it was like magical cheese with olive oil. I don't know what it was, but it was delicious. That experience of that little something extra made me be like, whoa, this place is top level service. And it makes me want to talk about them. But if you're not surprising and delighting people with that little something extra that you do in your business, that little something more than what you sold them and that what's contracted, they're a lot less likely to write your review. So go a little bit more. Reviews drive customers, builds trust, and increase sales, which is what we all want. Money, 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 right? That's why reviews matter. So now, I'm gonna give you homework. See, I need a favor, because how ballsy would it be for me to educate you all of this and not ask you to write me a review? So this QR code goes to the venue help desk, Google, and you can tell them how I'm the best speaker you've ever seen in the history of life. Just kidding. I just compete with my business owners about who gets the most reviews, and I speak on big stages, so I embarrass them. But give me the feedback. I mean, I know it'll be good because I taught you the entire formula today, so make sure you say good things about me. But take the time, if you don't mind, take 2 minutes, write me a review about the education. What did you learn? What was your best takeaway? How can I help your business? If you need my contact information, if you need anything, the majority of who I work with one-on-one is venues in terms of coaching, consulting, and helping to guide them. If you are a business in this area that is expanding to the Orlando, Central Florida market, wants to learn more about the Orlando-ish area, please don't hesitate to ask me. My business in Orlando is like the Marry Me Tampa Bay of Orlando. So I'm the Anna in my market. So if you I know, she's the cutest. So if you have any questions or anything, I'm here to help. All my contact info is up here on the screen, and please let me know if I can do anything to help. Yeah.
People we've never heard of.
Yeah.
Challenging them versus just replying to them.
You can challenge them as far as depending upon the platform that you're challenging them on. They don't care enough about you to take them down. Facebook is the strongest at challenging reviews and having them take them down because it requires them to show the proof. All the other platforms, they actually don't give a crap. So like the percentage of reviews that Google will remove when you challenge it, so reply first, because even if you challenge it, it's still sitting on your profile. But I would just go in and ChatGPT the response. You know, like I really appreciate it, but we never did this wedding. We never did this event. Like, I'm sorry that you applied to work for us and you didn't meet our standard of excellence to work here. Make them look stupid, right? But like, I think the key is to reply, and then challenge it. But it will sit on your profile until that challenge gets reviewed. So during one of the hurricanes, the hotel I worked at, we put up the line workers from around the country. Line workers drive to Florida when a hurricane's coming. Mission Inn is exact central of the state. So depending upon where the hurricane hits, they give every single hotel room to line workers for like $39 a night. They told them they could stay there for 4 nights. After that, there was a huge conference coming in and they had to move out. The corporate Duke never told the workers. They came back from working a 19-hour day and all their shit was in the hallways because we moved them out. You wanna know what happened? Shannon hadn't worked there in 2 years, and the ownership called me and was like, do you still have access to the Facebook? Of course I did, because they were stupid and didn't know how to take me off of it. The reviews, every single one of those line workers, women and families in other states, were ripping the company to pieces. I couldn't report things fast enough because it wasn't accurate information. We ended up with 600 bad reviews in less than 3 hours. It took the resort from a 5-star on Google to a 1-star because they 0-starred us and just trashed the company, right? So I reported as much as I could because that happened so fast, but then we replied back with the actual story. And it's like, I can't imagine. We gave them like a legit, like, how horrific. You're here helping our state serve. I'm so sorry that your corporate company failed you and we didn't have a better solution and we didn't know what to do. Like, so you have to respond anyways because people will see it. You can feel free to report it. It's just most of those platforms, like, you know, Wedding Pro and some of the other platforms, they're like, I'm not taking it down. So it's just really hard because they want you to prove it with contracts. So report it, but like still respond because it will sit there as long as it's there. Any other questions? Did anyone save me one more macaroon? Yes, there's a macaroon. That's all I'm here for. Just kidding. Thank you so much. If you have anything, I'll be here. Ask away.
And ladies and gentlemen, one more time, put your hands together right there for Shannon. And I would like to, once Shannon grabs that macaroon, I'd like to invite all of you guys to come up here, and I'd like to get a photo with all of you guys and Shannon. So come on up, everybody, join us up here. I want to get a picture, and then we're going to roll in with our raffles, see who wins that bridal show.